let's talk about something you've probably never heard discussed openly: sexual desire, self-pleasure, the urges that almost every human being experiences but nobody wants to address honestly. You've been told it's sinful, you've been told it's dirty, you've been told you're weak for having these desires, and so you carry guilt, shame. You struggle in silence, thinking something is wrong with you. But here's what might surprise you. Krishna, the same Krishna who delivered the Bhagavad Gita, did not condemn sexual desire. He addressed it directly, honestly, without shame. Today, we're going to explore what Krishna actually said about sexual energy, when it becomes harmful, when it's natural, and how to master it without destroying yourself in the process. This is not a guilt trip. This is not a lecture on morality. This is clarity you've been searching for. Before we dive in, let's acknowledge why this topic is so important right now. We live in an age where sexual content is one click away, unlimited, free, available in your pocket 24 hours a day. Young people are exposed to explicit content before they even understand what they're seeing. Adults are struggling with patterns they can't break. Relationships are suffering because expectations have been distorted, and nobody is talking about it. Religious leaders say, just don't do it, without explaining how or why. Modern culture says, do whatever feels good, without warning about the consequences. You're caught between guilt and overindulgence, with no clear guidance. This is why we need to go back to actual wisdom, not cultural opinions, not religious fear-mongering, but genuine spiritual understanding. And there's no better source than the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna addresses desire directly, including sexual desire. Let's start with something that might shock you. In chapter 7, verse 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes an extraordinary statement. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of desire and attachment. O Arjuna, I am sexual desire, which is not contrary to Dharma. Read that carefully. Krishna says, I am sexual desire. Not that sexual desire is evil, not that you should never experience it. He says he is that desire when it's aligned with Dharma. This changes everything. Sexual energy is not dirty, it's not a curse, it's not proof that you're spiritually weak. Sexual energy is divine. It's the same creative force that produces life, that builds civilizations, that creates art, music, innovation. The energy itself is sacred. The question is not whether you have sexual desire. Every healthy human does. The question is, what are you doing with it? Is it aligned with Dharma, or has it become something that controls and destroys you? This distinction is crucial, and most people miss it completely. Think of sexual desire on a spectrum. On one extreme, you have complete suppression, pretending the desire doesn't exist, forcing it down, hating yourself every time it surfaces. This leads to psychological damage. Repressed energy doesn't disappear. It explodes in unhealthy ways. The most suppressed individuals often have the most destructive releases. On the other extreme, you have complete indulgence, no control, no boundaries. Every urge immediately satisfied, endless consumption of stimulating content, constant seeking of pleasure. This leads to addiction, numbness, inability to form real connections, and eventually emptiness that no amount of pleasure can fill. Krishna's teaching is neither of these extremes, the middle path. Regulation, not elimination. Mastery, not suppression. You don't kill the fire, you learn to use it wisely. A fire that's out of control burns everything. A fire that's controlled cooks your food, warms your home, and powers civilization. Sexual energy is the same. Uncontrolled, it destroys. Channeled wisely, it creates. You've probably heard the term Brahmacharya. Most people translate it as celibacy, complete abstinence from all sexual activity. But that's not the full meaning. Brahmacharya literally means walking with Brahman, living in alignment with the highest truth. It's about how you use your energy, where your mind dwells, what you're devoted to. A monk who is physically celibate but mentally obsessed with fantasies is not practicing Brahmacharya. A married person who engages in sexual activity with their partner with love and presence, aligned with Dharma, that person may be practicing Brahmacharya more authentically. It's not about the act. It's about the consciousness behind it. Are you being controlled by your desires, or are you in command of them? Do your urges own you, or do you decide when and how to express them? This is the real question. For some people, at certain stages of life, complete celibacy is the right path. It frees up tremendous energy for spiritual practice. For others, healthy sexual expression within committed relationships is the path. Krishna doesn't prescribe one rule for everyone. He points to the principle: mastery over the senses, alignment with Dharma, conscious choice rather than compulsive reaction. So when does sexual desire become problematic? In chapter 2, verses 62 to 63, Krishna describes exactly how desire leads to destruction. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. From attachment, desire is born. From desire, anger arises. From anger, delusion arises. From delusion, confusion of memory. From confusion of memory, loss of intelligence. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down completely. This is the chain, and it applies perfectly to sexual compulsion. First, you contemplate, you dwell on it, you keep the images, the thoughts, the fantasies running in your mind. From that dwelling, attachment forms. You start needing it, not just wanting it, needing it. From attachment, desire intensifies. It's no longer a passing urge. It's a craving that demands satisfaction. When the desire isn't satisfied the way you want, frustration and anger arise. Irritation, restlessness. From there, delusion. You start justifying. Everyone does it. It's not that bad. I can stop whenever I want. Then confusion. You forget who you were before this pattern took hold. You forget what you're actually seeking. And finally, loss of intelligence. You make decisions you know are harmful. You sacrifice relationships, health, time, potential, all for temporary relief that leaves you emptier than before. This is the cycle of addiction. Whether it's substances, gambling, or sexual compulsion, the chain is identical. Krishna described it thousands of years ago, and it's more relevant today than ever. Let's be honest about what we're facing today. Never in human history has sexual stimulation been this accessible, this extreme, this infinite. Previous generations had natural limits. Access was restricted. Imagination was required. Today, endless novelty, unlimited variety, constant escalation to more extreme content. And the brain isn't designed for this. When you consume artificial sexual stimulation repeatedly, your brain's reward system changes. Dopamine receptors become less sensitive. You need more and more to feel the same effect. Real intimacy starts feeling boring compared to the hyperstimulation you've trained your brain to expect. Motivation decreases. Energy decreases. The ability to connect with real humans decreases. This isn't moral judgment. This is neuroscience. Young people are experiencing problems that were once rare. Inability to perform with real partners despite having strong responses to screens. This is becoming increasingly common, and almost nobody is talking about it openly. The issue isn't sexuality itself. The issue is artificial hyperstimulation that hijacks your reward system and leaves you unable to experience normal pleasure. There's another dimension to this that ancient wisdom understood deeply. Sexual energy is creative energy. It's life force. In yogic traditions, it's connected to your vitality, your motivation, your spiritual potential. When this energy is constantly being released without purpose, something depletes. You might have noticed this yourself. After excessive indulgence, there's often a feeling of emptiness, lack of motivation, brain fog, reduced drive. This isn't guilt causing it. Something real is happening energetically. Athletes often abstain before major competitions. They report increased focus, aggression, and performance. Creative geniuses throughout history have spoken about channeling sexual energy into their work. This isn't about shame. It's about understanding that you have a finite amount of vital energy, and where you spend it matters. In chapter 5, verse 22, Krishna points to this truth. An intelligent person does not take part in pleasures that arise from contact with the senses. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so they cause only suffering. Beginning and end, temporary, and ultimately suffering. Not because pleasure is evil, but because depending on external stimulation for fulfillment is a trap that never satisfies permanently. The pleasure ends. The craving returns. You seek again. The cycle continues. Until you realize that what you're actually seeking was never in the object of pleasure. It was always within you. So what do you actually do? Let's get practical. First, stop the shame cycle. Shame doesn't help you change. It makes you feel terrible, which makes you seek comfort, which often leads right back to the behavior. Shame is fuel for addiction, not a cure. Accept that you're human. Accept that these urges are natural, and decide to work with them consciously rather than being tortured by them. Second, identify your triggers. When do you feel the strongest urges? When you're bored, lonely, stressed, tired, late at night. The urge is usually not about sexual desire. It's about escaping an uncomfortable emotion. Understand what you're really running from. Third, reduce access and friction. If content is available with one click, your willpower has to fight 24 hours a day. That's exhausting. Put barriers in place. Remove apps. Use blockers. Make access difficult. You're not weak for needing this. You're strategic. Fourth, channel the energy. In chapter 3, verse 41, Krishna advises, "Therefore, O Arjuna, from the very beginning control the senses and curb this great symbol of sin, which destroys knowledge and realization." From the very beginning, don't let the energy build into compulsion. When you feel the urge, redirect immediately. Exercise, cold water on your face, push-ups, a walk outside, creative work. The energy is real. It needs somewhere to go. Give it a worthy outlet. Fifth, build a bigger vision. Why do you want to master this? What are you channeling the energy toward? If you have nothing meaningful calling you forward, you'll keep falling back into easy pleasure. Find your purpose. Build something. Create something. Serve something larger than yourself. When life is full and meaningful, the pull toward empty stimulation naturally weakens. Now let's go to the deepest level. Why does sexual desire have such power over humans? Because it's connected to the fundamental force of creation. The same energy that creates life creates universes. And at an even deeper level, every desire is ultimately a desire for union, for connection, for returning to wholeness. Sexual desire, at its root, is a distorted expression of the soul's desire to merge with the divine. You feel separate, incomplete, and you seek completion in another body, another experience, another moment of pleasure. But the completion you're seeking cannot be found in temporary union. It can only be found in permanent union, with your own self, with the divine. This is why even the most intense physical pleasure leaves you wanting more. It gives you a glimpse of the merger you're seeking, but the glimpse ends, and you're separate again. The masters who transcended sexual compulsion didn't do so through suppression. They did so through substitution. They found a higher bliss that made lower pleasures lose their appeal. When you taste something truly fulfilling, divine connection, the artificial stimulations start looking like what they are: cheap imitations. You don't have to fight desires forever. You have to grow beyond them. Find what you're actually looking for. Let me be clear about what the goal is. The goal is not to become someone who never feels desire. That's either dishonesty or damage. The goal is to become someone who is not controlled by desire. You can feel attraction and choose how to respond. You can experience urges and not be compelled to act immediately. You can appreciate beauty without needing to consume it. This is mastery, not elimination. Command. And this mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's built through daily choices, small victories, gradual strengthening. Every time you feel the urge and pause instead of react, you're building mastery. Every time you redirect the energy into something meaningful, you're building mastery. Every time you choose presence over escape, you're building mastery. Be patient with yourself. This is a practice, not a perfection. Here's what I want you to take from this video. Sexual desire is not your enemy. It's energy, and energy is neutral. The same fire that burns down forests also cooks food and keeps you warm. Your work is not to extinguish the fire. Your work is to become a master of how it's used. Stop carrying shame for being human. Start taking responsibility for your choices. Reduce the artificial stimulation. Channel the energy toward creation. Build a life so meaningful that empty pleasures lose their grip. And remember, what you're ultimately seeking is not in any object, any body, any experience. It's already within you, waiting to be discovered. If this video brought you some clarity, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want to go deeper and support this work, you can join the channel membership.